Welcome to segment 6, What We Think. By far, what we think is the most important of the 6 essentials for life. In fact, it's more important than the first 5 combined. We need to be conscious of our thoughts. That is, we need to think about what we think about while we're thinking about it. Why is it so important that we're cognizant of our thoughts? Well, the reason is there's really no defense system against our thoughts except that of our own minds. And our minds are somewhat like puppies on a leash. We're trying to train this puppy to walk on the sidewalk, but it's sniffing the bush over there, it's going around your leg, it's going backwards. We're trying to train the puppy to stay on the sidewalk, but we're having a lot of trouble. That's what our mind is like. There's all this meandering that goes on with our minds, and most of it is negative. The problem with negative thoughts is it creates negative stress chemicals. And these chemicals are produced whether or not the thought in our head is real or not. It could be something we're dreaming up about the future that hasn't even taken place yet our body is suffering from these stress chemicals. The anger and the anxiety that we're thinking about presently, either it's about the past or the future. And whether or not it's in the past or the future, it's still creating stress chemicals right here in the present, which is really detrimental to our health. And if we continue in this path long enough, we're going to head into a disease process. Most people initially think that they're positive thinkers, but once they start thinking about what they think about when they're thinking about it, they actually come to realize that they're not so positive, and actually they're kind of wrapped up in judgment or self-loathing. Self-talk is that dialogue that we have with ourselves. I've once heard it said that if you spoke to me the way that you speak to yourself, I'd never speak to you again. You ever bend down and you're going to pick something up and you come back up and you hit your head on a desk or something. You go, oh, jeez, that was stupid, or why'd you do that, you jerk, or something like that, or some other expletive. People say this is exactly what we don't want to be doing. Because our thoughts become things, and it becomes part of our lives, and it creates chemicals. And depending on how we view the world, we're producing different chemicals. If we're seeing the world as a great place, we're producing chemicals that are pro-health. If we're seeing the world as a horrible place, or we're angry about something, or whatever it is, we're actually producing negative chemicals that are detrimental to our health. Our minds are actually several mechanisms designed to help us get what we want in our life. Now, this is very well known in sports. It was, before you do anything in sports, let's talk about maybe golf. Before you're going to, hit the ball, you see in your mind's eye you connecting with the ball and the ball going exactly where you want it to go. This is done way before you ever connect with the ball. And this is done over and over again, and when you mesh that with actual physical practice, we prepare ourselves for these things to actually come with ease. The same thing is true with our thoughts. Our health and happiness is really determined by our thoughts. They talk about luck being where preparation meets opportunity. The same thing is true in our lives. Our health and happiness tends to go exactly where our mind goes, just like our cars. Let's say, for instance, you're driving down the road and you're playing with the radio. The car tends to go off the road to the right. And say you're driving down the road and you're playing with the side mirror. The car is going to tend to go off the road to the left. We need to think more positively about the things we want in life than we feel negatively about the things that we don't want in life. So what do we do with these many negative thoughts that we have? Well, there's 3 steps. First, recognize, oh, there's that negative thought again. Second, reject it. Hit the delete button. And the third is replace it. So, you want to replace it with what you want, stated in absolutely positive terms. Let's make an example. Let's say I'm worried about losing my job. That's prevalent now. So you would recognize, oh, I just had that thought again. So the next thing you would do is reject it. Hit delete, cancel, get rid of that. And next you want to replace it. So you might replace it with something like, I'm so thankful for my job, and I love doing my best I can every day. So you're replacing it with a much more positive thought, and you probably have a better outcome and more apt to stay employed. I find that while driving, I get a good idea of where my head's at. I get an idea of what I'm thinking. If I'm driving down the road and the person that passes me is a jerk and the person in front of me is slowing me down is a moron, I get a pretty good idea that I'm doing some negative thinking and I need to change some things. It's a good chance that the conversation in my head is just plenty negative. And that's important because we tend to see the world as we are, not as it is. And so I'd like to end by challenging you to think about what you think about when you're thinking about it, and choose happy, healthy thoughts for a happy, healthy life. Thanks.